Hello and welcome to Big Bald Business. Today we're going to look at pricing. So on the board here I've got 10 different pricing strategies. We're going to look through them one by one, and we're also going to look how shops and businesses apply them. We've got discriminatory pricing or discrimination pricing. This is where pricing is set according to the audience. So for example, you may charge a different price to students to go into the cinema as you would for everybody else. Well, you can see discriminatory pricing everywhere you look, especially in the big stores such as Sainsbury's. So the soup, of which I'm a fan, I think I'll get one of these ones, is £1.65 if you are a Nectar card holder, or £2 otherwise. Penetration pricing is when a firm releases a product or service and they're trying to enter the market, and it's maybe a competitive market with a couple of big players in there, and they want to gain market share fairly quickly. So they put together a penetration pricing strategy where they charge a lower price than the competitors in order to gain market share. And then when they have the market share, they'll move on to a different strategy such as competitive pricing, which we'll look through in a short while. And penetration pricing as well. So it's when a new product comes out and they're trying to enter into a market, in this case a niche market. So down here we've got rum, and you can see this Caribbean Pearl is £11.90, and the Captain Morgan's even on offer is £16. So that's Caribbean Pearl trying to break into the market, niche market, and that is penetration pricing. Okay, price skimming is when you don't have an awful lot of competition for the product that you have released. So you come in quickly, you charge as high a price as you can. You basically skim as much profit out of the market as you can. So an example of that might be the new iPhone coming out. So they take loads and loads of profit. As soon as a competitor such as Samsung come into the market with their new model, then they'll bring the price down and stop using the skimming strategy. And another pricing method is skimming pricing, where a product comes out and they try to take control of the market and put a very artificially high, if you like, price on the product until a competitor brings out. Example of that we've got here, Hero Hydration Citrus Lime Marvel, only £5.99 for a drink. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the market is there, but that would be a good example of skimming pricing. And one of the most renowned pricing strategies is premium pricing, where prices are charged at a very high rate to put across the impression to people that the products are really high quality. And as you can see behind me, we have got Boss, and products they sell are extremely expensive, so much so that there's not even prices. So you have to ask how much everything is, which puts across the idea that everything is quality, and it basically separates the poor people from those with loads of money. The dynamic pricing strategy is where the price can move relatively quickly. So I've got an example I'm going to show you in a short while, but where there's external factors affecting the business, affecting the price, which will therefore mean that the price of that product will change quite dramatically and also quite quickly. And yet another pricing strategy is dynamic pricing. So that's when the prices change due to external factors. So I'm currently standing outside a petrol station. It's probably the best example, and hopefully you can see the prices there behind me, which literally change day by day dependent on the price of crude oil and other factors as well. So that's dynamic pricing, where the prices change according to external influences. Okay, we have psychological pricing. This is where prices are charged which are slightly less than the next kind of yardstick. So an example might be charging £9,999 for a car as opposed to £10,000, because psychologically £9,999 sounds a lot less than saying £10,000. Yeah, the one type of strategy I found really hard to find so far, surprisingly, is that of psychological pricing. So just found it there. We've got the chopped tomatoes at 49p, which really is 50p, but you see 49, and you're likely to say to someone, if they say how much were your tomatoes, you're likely to say they were 40p, even though they're nearer to 50p, if that makes any sense. But like I say, there's not many examples of it in the shop at all now. Okay, competitive pricing pretty much does what it says on the tin. It's where you've got fairly similar products and you charge roughly what your competitor does. Doesn't mean you charge exactly the same, but you're in the same ballpark. So an example of that would be Coke and Pepsi. So competitive pricing is when shops base their price around those of the competitors. So I'm in B&M at them, and pretty much everything here is based around that of the competitors. Okay, loss leader pricing is where a company purposely sells a product below what it costs them to produce. So an example might be Pound World. They might buy an item for £5 and sell it for £1. You might ask, why would they do that? Well, they might buy 4 or 5 per store. They'll put it on the adverts that they've got this product in stock. You'll go down there, you'll look for the item. If it's there, happy days, you get a really good bargain. But while you're there, you'll go around and you'll buy maybe 20 or 30 other items. And they will be making profit on each of those items and losing money on only one. A number of stores offers more than one pricing strategy. So we looked at competitive pricing at B&M. Also there is loss leaders, where a product is sold pretty much at a loss just to draw customers into the shop, basically. So an example of that would be here we've got this popcorn, £2.49, absolutely huge packets, and that draws people like me into the store. So you buy that, and then you also buy a lot of other products while you're here as well. Okay, freemium pricing, it might be a new one to you. It's a fairly new pricing strategy. It's where you can access a product or service for free, but if you want to get the full benefit, so for example, you might use YouTube, but if you want YouTube Premium, you have to pay extra money. So it's where you get a basic version of the product or service, but if you want it to its full max capacity, then you have to pay extra money to enjoy it. So this is an example of freemium pricing. So you can see YouTube on the screen here. I could sign in, but if I want to have YouTube Premium, where you don't have the adverts and all the other nonsense, then I'd have to pay extra money. So I can get a free version, and if I want to unleash the full benefits, then you have to pay extra. So that's freemium. Okay, and lastly, we have cost plus pricing. So this is the cost of manufacture plus a percentage. Now, it's not a particularly good pricing strategy, because let's say you have an item that costs you £1 to produce and you want to make 50%. If suddenly the cost of manufacture goes up to £1.25, you still want to make 50%, then you're going to have to be charging £1.80 odd. Okay, now it doesn't take into account what your competitors are charging. So if you're hell-bent on that percentage, but your competitor is undercutting you, you are not going to make any profit and make any sales. Whereas you could actually bring the price down to below your competitors, still be making a profit. This one here, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not a very good strategy because it's too rigid. Okay, hopefully you've learned something today about pricing strategies. We've looked through 10 of them today. Please do subscribe to the channel, Big Bald Business, share with your friends, and tune in again for more business topics in the future.